right, we're rolling. Fantastic. What is up, podcast? What is up, YouTube? What is up, Insta? We are here live in somewhere close to Vernon, south of downtown Los Angeles. We're with the Skrap Father.
You're in the hood.
In the hood. That's where we like it. The thing is, this area is known for manufacturing. There's warehousing. There's a lot of stuff. But in between, you have your residential areas, like we have here, where Art lives, Art Ramirez. You want to find him, ramirez.art on Instagram. And he is a very special artist. We always have people on here with a lot of passion, and Art has a lot of passion for what he does. As you see behind him, there's some of his creations. We'll show a lot of other creations later on throughout the interview. But Art, why did they call you the Skrap Father?
Well, I didn't have materials to make my bike with. You make it out of whatever you have at hand. Scrap.
So you wanted to make bikes? Well,
no. I separated from the wife amicably. Mm-hmm. I left her everything. I left her the business. I came back with $100 in my pocket.
Wow. What business was this?
A carpentry business. We're both the children of master carpenters. Okay. My father's a master carpenter. Her father was a master carpenter.
That's awesome. My dad was a carpenter too.
When I was in the service, well, you don't make all that much, so you augment your income with something. Sure. If you can, and we started doing arts and crafts. Nice. We built it up, and when I got out of the service, I was given what's it called, severance pay, and with that, I turned my table shop into a floor model shop.
So you're
a full shop, carpentry. I used to make dinette sets, Louis XVI style.
Oh,
and
wow.
She used to make decorations. We're both children of master carpenters.
Wow, this is, I mean, that type of style is more like almost like antique style type furniture. Is that what it is?
Well, now it's considered antique because it used to be popular about 400 years ago.
Yeah.
It was all about craftsmanship.
Wow.
Well, anyway, that's what I left her, and I came back here, and I wanted something to do. I needed a job, and every morning I would see down the sidewalk all my paisanos with a little baseball cap, on their little BMX, on their way to work. And you would see them starting around 6 o'clock in the morning,
going to work on their bikes.
Sometimes 3 or 4 in a line, all going to work.
Wow.
I knew I had to look for something to do, but I didn't want to do it on that little bike.
The little BMX bike, you wanted to make something bigger.
I don't even know why I made a bike. When I was 11 years old, I was involved with some of the first lowriders in the LA scene back in the 70s, okay? My uncle, Tony Stubbs, he's on Facebook.
Tony Stubbs.
See, I haven't told him this. I have to go see him and tell him. We have a really large family. My grandmother had had 15 children.
Right.
So I had 30 or 40 cousins at that time. I was the second oldest of all of them.
Where are your parents from?
Mexico.
Mexico. What part?
Michoacan and Veracruz.
Awesome. So we Mexicans, we have big families. We come from large families.
Big families.
Yep.
Well, every Christmas, all the grown-ups would get together. What are we going to get the kids? So everybody got presents and stuff, but they all got, all of us, one thing that we could all do together. One year was skateboards. One year, the year I'm talking about, was bicycles.
Wow.
Well, we always had our Christmas party at my Uncle Tony's house, big house. And that Christmas, my uncle, and I would always help my Uncle Tony because he would give me $5 if I helped him all day long with this and that. The 70s for a little kid, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of candy bars, 10 cents a piece.
How much did he give you?
$5.
$5, okay.
That's a
That's
lot of
money.
money.
You can get a lot of ice cream
For
and
a
candy.
kid, I
for a
used to
kid.
get 50 cents allowance, mi
Oh.
domingo.
Yeah.
Anyway, my Uncle Tony works fixing trucks, doing body work and stuff like that. And he would ask me to help him out because my little hands would fit inside the doors,
Oh yeah. Little
holding the
spots.
anvil as he was hammering from the outside. Anyway, so I knew a little bit about the body work. I lived in the projects in East LA at the Ramona Gardens, next to a General Hospital off of the 10, the San Bernardino.
Ramona Gardens?
Ramona Gardens.
Wow.
Right around that time was the lowrider scene was picking up.
Yeah.
So, and there were these lowriders would do their shows, and it's an all-day event, and these lowrider guys, well, they had kids, and the kids would go there, and they would be bored all day long. So that's how the lowrider thing started, to keep the kids entertained at the shows.
Oh wow.
Well, one day, some of these kids came to me. They said, "Hey, you do body work, man?" I said, "Yeah." I was 11 years old.
11 years old.
Yeah.
What kind of body work how much experience did you have with that?
Holding an anvil.
working on bodies, on car bodies.
Well, so these kids came up to me and asked me, "Hey, you do body work, right?" So yeah, I worked with my uncle all the time. He says, "Hey, can you make a gas tank for this little bike?"
A gas tank? Why do they want a gas tank on a bike? Oh, just to look?
Yeah, it's a little roll riders, okay?
Oh, okay.
All right, so you got a frame. It's a standard frame. It's just tubing. But they wanted a gas tank on it.
Oh, they want it to look fat.
I said, yeah, I can make a gas tank on that. So I went to my uncle's house, and I got some tubs of Bondo. Not the little toothpaste things. We're talking the tubs of Bondo. And hey, well, I see my uncle do this. Grab this and put some of this activator stuff on it, and then mix it around, and then you start spreading it on it. But this thing, well, they want a tank, so I got about 3 or 4 tubs of Bondo, and with my hands.
Now, Bondo's usually used to make repairs.
Yes.
You were trying to make the whole thing out of the Bondo. Were you trying to make the whole thing out of Bondo?
I did. Well, see, I didn't know that you could, put the false wall and then you cover the wall with it and everything.
Yeah.
No, I made this thing, and I shaped it with my hands, and then I got my mom's cheese grater. I live in the projects.
Yeah.
There's no shops, no nothing like that. You're in the
There's
projects.
no Target. There's no Walmart.
Mom had a cheese grater, and that's how I kind of shaped it.
Shaved it down.
Because I hadn't mixed it right. So it didn't harden right. So it's semi. I just saw my uncle do it like that, and boom. They loved it.
They liked it.
Oh,
They
man.
liked your work at 11 years old.
Yeah, well, see, they were even younger than me.
Oh, so
I was an older guy. I was
right.
11.
You're more experienced.
Okay, yeah.
You had life experience.
No, hey, I had a job. And then they came back. And then they asked me for my first metal work. I said, "Hey, can you put skirts on this?" That's in the rear.
They want skirts on the bike.
Yeah, they wanted hat skirts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can do that. By then, I kind of figured out, well, what if I put some of this cardboard right there and then cover it up? I wish I could buy that frame, find it. That frame means a lot more to me than any of these bikes right there.
Was that why does it mean so much to you? Was it your first creation?
Yes. See, I have my first bike. My first bike's in there. Actually, no, that's number 3. The first bike was bought by this guy.
Yeah. So
No. The second bike was bought by a guy who didn't know it was stolen, sent me the picture, and I posted it. Hey, this bike just got recovered. Well, lo and behold, the owner turns up and says, "I want my bike back." So I have to ask my friend who bought this bike, hey, that's a Skrap Father bike. I want that. I had to tell him, you got to return this bike. But what I did is I gave him my first bicycle in exchange for the second one.
Oh wow! To get this one back.
Yes.
Right.
My first bicycle was also stolen. It It was stolen for 8 years. This one was stolen for 6.
Dang.
My first bicycle was stolen for 8 years. And when somebody decided they wanted to sell it, when it was stolen, I wasn't known. When somebody decided to sell it, I was known by then. Another friend of mine, Tito Cortez, was looking for some headlights online. Boom! Up pops this bike up for sale, $350. Art, he sent me a message. Art, are you selling your bike? No, man, that's the first one.
Dang.
That's the first Skeletron.
So people start to get to know you about because your ability to create these unique bikes out of scrap metal. Everything that you create, all the bikes are. Where do you get the scrap from? Is it a scrap yard? Is it the trash
You see
can?
that shopping cart? You see the shopping cart over there?
Yeah, yeah. What do you?
That's number 2. There was 2 of them.
So do you just walk around different?
That shopping cart was brought here by Kuya Hawk, 2 of them. He brought them to me because he knows I make bikes out of scrap. And I made one bike out of the first one, and I was about to touch the second one, but the neighbors over here says, hey, that's a good laundry cart. So I left that one alone, but to answer your question, I make bikes out of that. See this chair?
Chairs, anything?
Yeah, I have a video. It's 5 minutes, 5 seconds long, where I make one bike out of one chair.
What?
And I end up with a handful of scrap.
Wow.
It's
So you make a full bike out of one chair?
yeah.
What? That's incredible.
Um,
Some of the
that's-
bikes I'm looking at look like fences of people's yards.
the one in there will tell you it's a fence.
Right? It's a fence. Like they look like fence pieces.
Yes.
What is this one made out? What is this one?
Exactly what you just said.
A fence?
See, I'm a welder, and back then, I would do anything at the swap meet that they wanted. But anybody, any neighbors or anything, hey, can you make security doors and stuff like that? You see that fence?
Yeah.
That material is the same material as this bicycle.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it looks like exactly. That's crazy. And you
It's,
turn it into a work of art. How did you get from, because your uncle only showed you so much, he showed you the Bondo stuff. At what age did you start welding? Actually welding.
I have lived in the hood my entire life. I was an underprivileged kid in the 80s.
So in the
there was a
80s.
program at the Watt Skill Center.
Watt Skill Center. Okay.
Yes. Well, anyway, the reason I ended up going to the Watt Skill Center because I have a cousin who had to go to court, juvenile court, and right there they told him that this or that, and he chose that.
Yeah, so you do this,
You do this or
or you go to jail.
continuation.
Or continuation school.
Yes.
Pretty much.
He chose that, continuation school. A problem. I did mention I was the second oldest in of all my cousins.
Right.
I'm also the family interpreter.
Oh, you're the only one
Back
that
then,
speak English?
Back then, I was the go-to guy for the entire family for official interpretation
So
purposes.
something came up, if you had to go to court, they would call you. They'd
Exactly.
Be, Art, you got to come with me.
Yes.
If you got to go fill out your paperwork for any school, Art, you got to come with me.
So they sent my cousin, Isaías Ibarra. Yes, Isaías, you're involved with this too because of you. I ended up being a welder. Okay. He's on Facebook. He'll see this, hopefully. Anyway, I had to go with his mother, my aunt Carolina, to the Watt Skill Center. Back then it was on Avalon and 111.
Wow.
And so we go over there, and the council, and we're talking to the interpreting for my aunt with the counselor and everything, getting my cousin enrolled. And the counselor notices, I'm only 19 years old. She says, so what do you do? Right now I'm in between jobs. This is what we teach here. Skills. It's a Watt Skill Center. They taught welding, electricians, the sheet metal bending.
Wow.
Many skills.
Everything. Trades.
Yes. Says, why don't you try out here? They say, it doesn't cost much. My mother paid $65 for my technical education. I was as an underprivileged kid, I qualified for a certain program, and by paying that initial fee, it allowed me what was back then at LA Tech a $15,000 technical education.
Wow.
Back then, this is in the 80s, late 80s.
So for $65, you got to be certified as a welder.
I got to go to the welding school, and and at the same time, they interested me in continuing my high school education. I dropped out when I was 11 years old.
Oh wow.
To try to get a job, make money, because I'm also a young father.
Right. How many kids you have?
Right now I have two.
Two.
Yes.
But so did they help you get your GED at the same time?
Not only did I get my GED, I blew it out of the water. They said, hey, why don't you go for your high school diploma? So he says, listen, the way you're doing things, this is all you got to do. Well, I did that.
So you got a high school diploma?
Yeah, I got
That's
both.
amazing. GED and a high school diploma.
And a high school diploma,
amazing.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Back to the certification. I graduated at the top of my class.
Top of the class.
In my field, arc
Wow.
welding. They got several fields, and there are several processes of welding. One of them is stick welding. When anybody thinks of a welder, they think of the guy holding the electrode.
Yeah.
That's back in the day, that was a welder. Not only that, is to get you get certified as an arc welder, but you get a license as in the other processes. But you must be certified. Anyway, I graduated at the top of my class. Then you got to go downtown to try to take the test to get certified. The school doesn't certify you.
To get a license, like
To get certified.
welding license.
Well, I was an illegal alien.
Oh. You couldn't take the test?
I couldn't take the test.
Oh wow.
I was an illegal alien. In a way, it was kind of okay. It was kind of a good thing, because we're talking the 80s. Remember, I don't know if you were around here at that time, but if you go all up and down the coast of California, there were oil rigs all over, up and down California in the 80s. This is before the Exxon Valdez thing and environmental this and
even
that.
in Santa Fe Springs, there was tons of everywhere.
Right around that time that I was denied my certification because of lack of documentation, they passed all these laws, and they had to shut all that down. Thousands of welders.
They shut down the welding school?
No, they shut down all the oil rigs.
Oh, all the oil rigs, okay.
Because of the EPA stuff.
And that's where a lot of the welders were working at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
I was studying to be an underwater welder, a submerged welder on the oil rigs. Well, they shut all those oil rigs down, and thousands of those welders were laid off. I would have been one of them.
So it was good that you kind of had a shift.
Well, I was forced to shift because of the documentation issue. But right around that time, the Reagan years, the Amnesty
International.
and Amnesty thing came around where many illegal aliens were able to apply for residency. Since I got here at 9 years old, and all I had done was go to school, and my mom, all she had done was just work, we qualified.
You qualified.
Because I had got my high school diploma, and my father was a soldier for 25 years. I used to wake up in the mornings around 4 a.m. in the morning, and I would smell the smell of kiwi and the sound of my father brushing his boots. And once in a while, he would take us to the base with him, and I liked all that.
The base was here in LA?
This is in Mexico.
Oh, in Mexico?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So he was a soldier in Mexico.
He was a soldier in Mexico.
Wow.
Well, when I got my residency papers, my green card, when we applied, then I started to, I went to the recruiters with a friend. They said, hey, she wanted to try to work for the Army, and they asked you to take the test. It's called an ASVAB test. It's an aptitude test. It's a
Yeah.
miniature, a mini test right there. The real one is taken downtown, and they asked me, hey, so what are you doing? Well, I showed it where you guys are at. Why don't you take the test too?
Oh yeah, you're in a recruiting office. You're gonna get recruited easily.
I'll take the test. Knowing I was an illegal alien, but so I took it. They were impressed with my little score there. Hey, he says, this is really good, When I came to this country, I didn't speak English. And the school system here back then had the sink or swim program. Or
just figure it out.
You take them to the deep end, you drop them in the water. If they float, you're good to go. Back then, the sink or swim program was put them into class, see if you can pick up something. But we need to do something about their English. So they had somebody to try to
teach English?
Teach English, and that would be done at the library.
Wow.
See, I'd never seen a library. I fell in love with it.
Oh yeah.
With books. I fell in love with books.
It's a great That's a great memory to bring up because I love libraries myself. My garage is full of books. My house is full of books. But a lot of people kids these days, the library, nobody goes in there. You pretty much go on Google or you download Amazon books. Talk about that feeling of being in a library, how great that was, turning actual paper pages, right?
Well, the teacher and some of the other teachers there started noticing that. And I think, they knew it was a good thing, that something was happening that normally doesn't happen. They left me alone with that. I started just to open them up, little by little. Like I said, I fell in love with reading. So much to the point that in junior high, I was made the librarian's assistant and in high school too.
Wow.
At Fauché and at Manual Arts.
That's awesome.
I read so many books that, you know how in English classes, some classes you got to turn in a book report the next day, 1 or 2 pages, nothing too complicated. A lot of these kids, hey Art, can you make me a book report? And I'll give you all my lunch tickets. Sure. Off of the top of my head, any book, any little story, boom, boom, boom.
So you would do your book report, you would do their book reports, everybody's book reports?
I was a fat kid because of it.
Because you were just reading all the time?
And I had 3 or 4 booklets of tickets, meal tickets.
Oh yeah, they were giving you free meal tickets.
And when I came to this country, I fell in love with food too.
Everybody who goes to America gets fattened up here.
Well,
we had McDonald's and
everything. I took the test at the recruiters. Just, we'd like you to take the big test. We'd like you to enlist, and I was all for it too. And then I told them, listen, we just applied for this amnesty thing. Yeah. Oh, don't worry about that. You applied? Okay, all right. So they took me to take the test. I blew the test out of the water. I qualified 92% in the country.
92% in the country?
92%.
Wow.
I went, I don't know what he said, but in basic training, one of my drill sergeants says, you must have been an A3 or an A1. I don't know how they classify the recruits.
That's incredible.
Recruiters have to give so many recruits per month, their quota, okay?
Yeah.
Let's say A1s. But if he gets one A3, that one A3 will cover his entire quota for all the others. So they were after me.
So you helped them out. That's incredible. Coming from Mexico, going to school, but then not finishing high school, getting your GED because of this welding program, and then also they helped you get your high school diploma, and then I mean, you must have read. I mean, you must have been doing some sort of studying or reading because you you aced this test from the Army. It's like
I blew it out of the water.
top 92%. Like that's crazy. That's incredible.
I did the same thing with the ASVAB. I mean, with the GED.
That's incredible, bro. From somebody from coming from Mexico, from where you came from, not finishing high school and doing all that. That's pretty unique. It's awesome.
You know, I've come to think of education in its pure form. Back in the day, an educated man was a man that had been sent through a certain process.
Right.
Usually meant for people with affluence.
Yeah.
They would send their sons off abroad. That was part of their education.
To go to college
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can do that yourself simply by opening a book.
You did it all through the library.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
all
awesome.
of it. See, it just wasn't one thing. It was all of it. The entire library. It doesn't matter. That book or that book or that book. It's in there.
It's good because I think hopefully some people that are watching this that are like, you know, if kids are watching this, they can say, you know, a lot of kids will be like, oh, I'm too late, I can't do it, or, you know, too late, the teacher didn't give me all the information, or I missed this. You didn't get any of the information. You went and got it yourself at the library and figured it out yourself, right?
I didn't know I was doing it. I just liked it. You're loading your mind and you don't know it. And all it is, you see the bodybuilders, they're lifting, they get bigger and bigger.
Yeah. When
you're reading, you're doing the same thing to your brain.
Loading your mind.
Now, it don't matter, you know, if you may not have everything covered, but you got enough to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Not only that, in this particular area, it makes you stand out.
You got to know some things, yeah. That's crazy. So you pass this test, and then what year is this that you go into the Army?
1990 to 98.
1990 to 1998.
While in the service, we started doing little arts and crafts shows in the local areas around whatever post we were at.
Okay. Craft shows. You guys started getting into making furniture.
Yes. And it never got. It was enough to supplement my military income, but it didn't start really picking up until I got out of the service. I got out in '98. With the severance pay, I bought floor model tools, and we really got into it. We hooked up with a carnival. I ran with a carnival for 7 years, right after the service. During the service, I hooked up with the carnival. In Texas, they have every little town has a little county fair.
There's a bunch of towns, and you just go traveling all over the place.
All over the place. Well, around the base, Fort Hood, you got like 10 little towns.
Wow.
We used to do little art and craft shows on the weekends while I was in the service. And we would go there and set up our booth and everything. But once it got dark, you know, then things started shutting down. One time, there was a carnival in conjunction with the fair.
Yeah.
My mother here from LA has sent me this tube of glow-in-the-dark necklaces. You know, the ones that you just break like that?
Yeah, the ravers all use those.
Yeah, exactly. She sent me a couple of tubes of that. Well, at the Arts and Crafts show, it got dark, and you start packing up everything. But the carnival's going on and doing some fireworks and stuff, and this entire crowd was sitting in this field by itself, and it was dark, but good enough for the fireworks and stuff, and away from the carnival. And I told my wife, hey, let me go down there with this glow necklace and see if I can sell them. I sold the tube she had sent me. I sold them in less than an hour. I made about $400. Holy crap. Well, at the next show, I called my mom, hey, can you send me some more? At the next show was on the other side of Fort Hood, and it was the same carnival there. Well, I do the fair, and I got the tubes. You know what? If I go into the carnival, because right there they didn't have a field and people and dark and everything, but let me go ask the carnival people. I went over there and I had the haircut and everything, and this is the military area. Everybody there had a haircut. So I asked, hey, um, I'm with, I'm doing the fair right here. I'm stationed here at Hood. You think I can sell some of these? Because last week I saw where you guys were over there. Sure. All you got to do is pay the nut. What's the nut? The nut is 20%.
Oh wow, yeah.
That's what you
20%
pay
or
the
so.
house. They call it a nut because back in the day, everybody traveled in wagons. And if you went to the carnival and you were one of the vendors, your rent was paid when you paid the nut. What you had a wagon wheels, you put it on and you tighten the nut, all right, so it doesn't fall off. So when you went to the carnival to work, they would take off one of the nuts of your wheel and keep it.
What?
So you couldn't leave without paying the rent, paying the nut.
Paying the nut.
So I asked the
That's
carnival,
right.
hey, can I work here tonight? Sure, all you gotta do is pay the nut. I made about $400 or $500. This is a lot of money in 1 or 2 hours
Yeah.
for a soldier making $800 a month.
Wow.
That's a lot of, oh yeah, boom. And their next show was gonna be in Killeen on the other side of Fort. Hey, you guys are going next week. Can I show up? Sure. I started following them around a little bit further, and right around that time, I ETS. I separated from the Army, and I we became part of the carnival.
Okay.
We dropped our carpentry business, and we started. I made games, novelty joints. I sold novelties, and I ran my joints. A joint is one of the games. They liked the way I did things. I did everything from scratch.
So you ran the game. You're like a carny.
Yeah, I made my own games. I had a glass pitch. You throw the dimes on the glasses. The old style was, if your dime lands on this glass or that cup, that's yours.
Oh wow.
I did something similar, but I upped the ante. Every carnival, you see all the stuffed animals. Every other game, they all have the same stuff. I didn't. In Texas, between all the little towns, there's always a giant super Walmart.
Oh.
What I would do is, instead of putting plush stuffed animals in my games, or dishes for a glass pitch, I would go to Walmart and buy the little flat screen, this or that.
TVs.
Stuff. Anything from Walmart.
Wow.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
People going to the comments, hey man, you know how much that TV cost? At Walmart, they got that for $150. Well, anyway, it was interesting. Not only that, I did have, for the traditional ladies who like to toss the dime, they go for the dishes, my first level, I had a pyramid.
Yeah, because your tickets had to be higher to get the TVs, right? To pay for the to play that game.
Well,
you pay
and
more.
instead of landing on the TV, I had these shot glasses, or candle holders.
So it's very hard to get it on there.
Yes, but you have to get it in, and you have to be a master. Anyway, I left her that, and I came back. I needed to do something. My mother bought me a welder.
That's like a tank with the
One of these,
everything, yeah.
but not a Lincoln. This is really expensive.
Oh wow.
Okay, this will cost by itself right now probably about $650, $700, $750.
Dang.
But
you got your first welding machine.
She bought me a little welding machine, and one of the neighbors asked me, "Hey, you weld? Can you fix my door?" And I started doing that. And before I finished, another neighbor, "Hey, when you finish, can you come and look at this?" That's how I started welding 20 years after
Doing
I
little
learned.
welding pieces and stuff like that, because there's everything.
See, I didn't touch a welder for 20 years after I was denied my certification.
Wow.
I went into the service. I was in the service for over 8 years.
Yeah.
Then a carny for 7.
A little bit of construction here and there, but nothing with welding.
Nothing with welding.
Yeah.
And yes, construction. I hooked up with my brother, and I can make designs, beautiful stuff with concrete. See, this is just concrete. This is gray. I make colored concrete.
Oh, wow.
I made this. I mounted a water fountain, and but the base was a giant Aztec calendar.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, with all colored concrete, all handcrafted.
Wow.
Construction's a really, really labor-intensive field.
Yeah.
It's really hard and stuff. Not only that, there's no construction in Los Angeles. It's around Los Angeles, so I had to travel
Yeah.
60, 70 miles every day, just like
Yeah.
any Angelino, with the
Dispersed.
traffic jams and everything.
Yeah.
And then gas hit $5 a gallon. I said no. I left my truck in the driveway, and I would turn it on every 2 or 3 weeks, to maintain the battery. And then at the end of the year, whatever gas was in there just ran out. And then the tires started to go down. And then the second year, I had to pay registration for something I didn't use. I told my neighbor, turn it on, take it away. It's yours.
When was this? This must be
This is
recent.
2005 when
2005.
gasoline hit $5 a gallon for the first time in Los Angeles.
In 2005, it hit $5? Really? I don't
Or
remember.
2005, 2006.
And we're tripping out right now. It's almost $6. It hit 5. We were tripping out. So it happened before. This happened before 2005.
Yes.
Wow. Crazy. And then that was 2005.
Yeah.
You don't drive now. It's 2021. It's 2000. Actually, it's 2022 now.
I haven't had a car since I gave the truck away in 2000.
I was going to ask you. You've never had a car since 2005 all the way to 2022. You've never had a car. You just ride your bike.
I ride my bike. Not only that, it's I became a welder.
Yeah.
I made a tricycle. I made my own weld. You know how welders have? You see these trucks with the big welders, the overhead thing for the material. Those are welding trucks. That's a welding rig.
Oh, you're right.
I made me a tricycle welding rig.
So I was going to ask you, how do you get to your gigs? You take the welding stuff on your bike and go?
On my tricycle.
On the tricycle.
Yeah, I made a special tricycle. Not only that, I also made a trailer for it when it got bigger, and it was electric.
It's an electric bike, so you'd see.
I would be nothing further than say 3 or 4 miles because there's plenty of work.
There's plenty of work just in this area right here. Warehouses.
Yeah.
You got some regular residential stuff.
Yeah.
Fences and security are definitely needed in this area. Like,
Yes.
So
just because it's metal doesn't mean it's eternal.
yeah, it's
there
gonna
is-
rust.
oh,
It's gonna.
One thing I found out about work is that you don't have to go chase it. It comes to you. It does come to you. It comes to you. That's why I left construction, because why go to it when it can come to you?
How did people start to find out about you? Because that's a long gap of time, like 2005 all the way to 2022. I mean, people start knowing that you're like this welder. I mean, was it the bikes that brought people to you? Was it just your quality of work, word of mouth going out? What was it that people start knowing you? The Skrap Father as the guy to go to.
For centuries, iron workers have been sacrosanct.
What's that mean?
Untouchables, people you need. If an invading army came into a kingdom and conquered it, and as they were massacring the entire population, all the iron workers were spared.
So they would.
We're kingmakers.
Wow.
We make kings. You can't be a king without your sword.
Nice. I like that.
So, that still holds true today.
That's crazy. That's amazing. So
Iron workers will always be needed.
there's always,
Not only that, they're expensive. So when somebody from here has to call a welder from out there to come over here, it's already expensive just to show up.
just to show up, they're going to charge $160 just to show up or something like that.
This guy lives next door. And he lives here. He knows the deal. He knows how it is here, the economics.
Right.
I don't have to charge for the gas. I don't have to charge for the show-up fee.
Yeah, your cost isn't as high as the other guys, so you can save.
So, hey,
put
and
that-
it's just a little. See, the big welder, he won't come to fix your hinge. One broken hinge.
He's not gonna come all the way out here for
He
that.
is not, lady. It's $150 just to show up at your door for a hinge.
They're gonna be like, just try to fix it yourself. Like, go on YouTube or try to fix
Or
it.
you know somebody that welds? Yeah, that guy over there, he's got a welder. Hey, can you fix my hinge? Yeah.
That is how over and over and over and over and over they have these little gigs that nobody would come into the neighborhood for. You do those
That's
gigs.
my job.
That's you.
That's my job. My job is to do the little things.
Dang.
And that picked up into slightly bigger things. But I've always kept myself at the front yard fence level.
Yeah, that's where we're at, in the front of your
Yes,
front of your yard.
it's you can't. Don't, well, I knew what my job was. My job was to do the job that the other guys wouldn't do.
You knew your niche. That's,
Yes,
this is your niche.
yeah, that was it. Not only that, I would do it with what you got some. Hey, can I use that? Yeah, I can use that. Okay, I'll take that apart and I'll fix your thing right there. Okay,
Dang.
I don't have to go for the metal. You make do with what you got. It's this is this area.
That's why they call you the Skrap Father. You make do. That's great. So how did you get? I know back in the day when you were 11 and stuff like that, you worked on little bikes. But when was it where you started to getting into collecting scrap and making these larger bikes? These
Well,
art.
the first
these
one
piece
I
art
made,
things.
Skeletron. Her sister. I made 3 Skeletrons. The first one was stolen. Okay.
What year was this? What was this?
2006. I made Skeletron.
2006.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it was the first bike I had ever made. I had made some tricycles for the corn guys. I was a welder. One day, one of the corn guys came to my door. Hey, can you fix this? It broke on me. Okay. Well, 2 weeks later, he brought a friend. Hey, can you fix that for him? Yeah.
Yay.
Then later, another one of their friends, hey, can you make me a trike? Sure. I made 12.
For those elote men. The elote men.
Well, I made one for him, but I made 2. There's something about me, man. One of my friends once told me, man, everything you do is overkill.
Everything you do is over the top. Like when they see your work.
Overkill. Not necessarily over the top,
But
overkill.
Overkill. Beefy tires. I'm looking at a bike now. It's beefy tires. It's strong. It's got shocks.
You should have seen those trikes. Those trikes were indestructible.
Wow.
And I made 12 of them. And then I said, hey, I'm going to make a killing with it because all these corn guys, all these little businesses, yeah, you know. So I went downtown and I found out where they got their corn on Olympic and 11th. Well, actually, it's Olympic and another one, not 11th. Right next to DJ Street in downtown. That's where they sell the corn. And every day, all these corn guys will go there like around 4 o'clock in the morning to pick up their corn.
Oh.
So at this time, I was still driving my truck.
Oh.
Okay. So I made, I would be able to put 4 of my trikes. So
Oh, you had them in there, some display units.
in the back. And I went to the front office at the corn place and, hey, can I sell my trikes here? Sure. 15%. By the gate.
She wanted the nut too.
I knew the deal. They knew the deal. They allowed me to do that. I only sold 2 or 3 of them, but that's not important. What's important is that everybody knew I was making them.
You got the clientele from right there.
So then it started. So I stopped going there because
They were coming to you by that time, right?
By that time, they started to come to me.
Wow.
And I had made those, but then it wasn't. I needed more. I wanted to make a bicycle. I needed to make a bicycle so I can start going out. Right around that time, I dropped the car, my truck. I said no more.
Yeah.
I started. One day, I went to the swap meet, parked my. I had a trike, one of the core trikes. I parked. I started drawing, sketching. I made about 20 drawings that day, and I picked one. That's the bicycle in there.
So that's your process. You kind of like draw them out. What's in your mind? Draw them out.
The first one, see, I didn't know anything. I didn't even know if it was going to work for 2 months. It took me 2 months to make the first one.
Whoa.
Weighed 150 pounds.
150 pounds?
Pure
Wow.
steel. You'll see it in there. It's
And it rolls. It rolls at that weight. It's
yes. Well, it was so heavy I had to add gears to it.
Oh, okay.
The first one was 135 gears. This one right here is probably about 105 gears.
105 gears?
Yes, I
So did they?
I made a gearbox.
Oh, a gearbox.
I've always been mechanically inclined. I make things. I make things.
So you made it to where it can have different that many gears. It's not spokes. It's a box. What's in the box? That is it.
Okay, it's called a gearbox. What it is it's an arrangement. Of gear transfers, a transmission.
It's like a transmission.
It's a
little mini
transmission.
transmission.
That's a 5-speed transmission in between this sprocket and the wheel sprocket. It's got a 5-speed transmission on it.
That's crazy. So there's a lot of electrical involved. I see that.
This one was born electric.
Wow.
Yes, just one of the first homemade electric bikes in LA.
How did you figure all that out? Like you figured out how to make electric bike. Like they sell them for like $10,000 now.
Around 2005, they had the scooter craze. Remember the little yellow electric scooters, the little plastic case in there, but it's a scooter, it's for the kids.
Yeah.
At Christmas, millions of kids got those scooters.
Yeah.
But at 6 months, all those scooters started ending up against the side of the house.
They retired them already.
And then after 5 years, they were junk. And you have all these junk dealers, collectors, you know, hey, we take junk, we take junk. My next door neighbor was a junk dealer. And I'm a metal worker. We had a symbiotic relationship.
Yes.
I would give him my scraps, he would give me interesting pieces of metal.
Dang.
Well, all these scooters were being junked. Hey, Art, can you do something? Yeah, leave them here. Some scooters, the battery was dead. Some scooters, the controller didn't work. The throttle didn't work. How did I find out? Like, well, let's see. Boom. Oh, wait, that did something. Okay. And, that burnt it. Oh, okay.
So you're saying trial by error?
Trial by error. Yes.
So
You see every single one of those wires?
Yeah.
I know what they do now.
You know everyone I mean, that's some tedious. Like you sat there, that must took hours, days to try to figure that out. but now you know everything about the electrical bikes.
They taught me. They taught me that.
Damn.
And once you know,
That's some patience. You have some patience.
I had a lot of time on my hands.
That's good.
I also focus a lot.
Yeah. Once you get deep, once you get focused on one thing, are you just like thinking it all night? You don't sleep. You're just thinking about that.
I had PTSD. I didn't know it at that time. I didn't find out until last year, 2 years ago.
Right.
But when you do something, you don't necessarily know why you're doing it, but you do it. It was self-therapy.
Yeah. Like takes you out of that. It's like people that play guitar. They're just lost in the time goes by. It doesn't seem like a long time and it just goes by.
Therapy.
Right.
Self-therapy, you don't even know. But focusing
on your passion, on your art. That's like the painters I talk to. They focus on painting these murals. The musicians I talk to, they focus on their music. You're focusing on figuring out these bikes, and this is your art. There's nothing like I'm looking at. There's nothing like the one in back of you. There's nothing like the ones that people are probably riding around. They're made by you. They're unique pieces of art. That there'll never be another one like that. You realize that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
not unless I make another one.
unless you make it.
And now I do. I have several models, my lines.
You have your line of bikes
Yes.
now? Perfect.
Normally in our industry, Uh, it's about individuality. Anybody that gets, you could get the same bike. 10 guys could get the same bike.
Yeah.
In 2 months, none of them would be the same.
They switch them around, do little things to them.
Their personality starts to be imprinted on the bike. Well, I don't like the bars. Well, I don't like the seat. Well, I want this. I want that.
Yeah.
And that's when they buy a stock. But when they get or make a custom, because they want to be different.
Do you do that? Do you have your stock items, but then you also have, if you want a custom thing, you'll do it for them?
You see, there are those, the school of thought in our industry, our culture. The school of thought is, yeah, you know, I want mine to be different and everything. But they oversee the fact that as they're saying this, I want to be different, they're wearing Levi's.
They have an influence from somewhere. Yeah.
That guy's wearing Levi's, that guy's wearing Levi's. It didn't bother you then. Like I said, there's a school of thought. The thing is that school has a lot of classrooms. Then there are the others who, hey, that's the hot thing right now. That's what I'm gonna get. There is something for everybody in this culture. There are those who want to have that one, and that looks really cool. But he saw somebody else riding on it. He's got no problem having the same badass bike.
Yeah, well, there's people like me that I don't want to reinvent the wheel. Just give me the same. That one looks good. I'll take that.
Badass. I want that. Yeah. There is room for everybody.
And do you have a bike shop somewhere or something? I saw another website where it was a bike shop. Is that somewhere else or is that here? So they order the bike and they get it from here. It comes from here, and then you get okay.
You see that cut? Yeah. Every 24 of these cuts on this floor is one bicycle.
Oh, is this your inventory?
This is my shop.
Oh, wow.
You see that table back there?
Yeah.
That table's been here for 2 years. That's because I hired somebody from Spain to come over and build a bike for me for a client, and he doesn't work on the floor. Look at my boot.
Wow.
You see that?
Yeah.
This is how I work.
You work on the floor.
I work on the floor.
Wow. But this guy doesn't work.
Well, he didn't. I got him the table. He did. He did what he was hired to do. He did really well. The table stayed. I used it to make my straighter cuts. See, back then, every single bike I made before 2 years ago was made on this floor as straight as possible.
Yeah, because this floor slopes.
You see that light pole over there?
Yeah.
That's my plumb.
Is that your plumb?
That's my plumb.
That's your line.
Yes.
Wow.
That is my plumb.
That's how you keep them straight.
That's how I kept them straight.
Wow. That's crazy. So that Instagram, there's an Instagram that's like Skrap Father Bikes or something. That's
okay. That would be that's a site that was started by my club president, JP.
The club, let's talk about the club. You're a 1%er. Look at the patches. A 1%er bike club. It's like it's that's what John was telling me. You guys are in a 1%er bike club or something like that. Is it anything like the 1%er motorcycle clubs? Is it as dangerous, I should say?
No. Okay. Right off the bat, we spoofed them.
You're trying to be like.
You will never see 20 motorcycle clubs hanging out together, chilling, having fun.
Yeah.
There will be fights.
Yeah. Danger.
With us, the more clubs, the better.
You're not fighting with the other clubs. You're not fighting with the.
You're not fighting with anybody.
With the Bell's Angel Bike Club from down the street, nothing like that.
No. As a matter of fact, we invite them to come to our rides, to our shows. Yeah. Please come.
John was telling me they're fun. Everybody parties before, and then you ride for a while.
And you're partying on the bike too.
And partying on the bike.
Oh yeah. Many of our friends have cup holders on the bike.
Cup holders and everything, and then. He said, do you do a lot of charity work and stuff like that, like for kids and stuff like that?
I don't know if you remember 3 or 4 years ago, this corn bender guy had his an altercation with somebody, and that somebody flipped his car over. It was all over the news.
Messed up his car and everything like that? Oh,
Yeah,
man.
destroyed it. And it was on the news, and it was caught on video, and it went viral.
Nice.
It was on the news.
So everybody was pissed off at that.
My club president saw that. He said, that shit ain't right.
Yeah.
He called the reporter who made the video and said, hey, we'd like to get in contact with this guy. We're going to make him a card. We made the card here. The reporter came here, and he got another 15 minutes of frame.
Yeah.
We just wanted to make sure it was better.
That's awesome. So you made him a new cart for his
Yes.
elote business.
That was, you know, there's been several projects that the club has started here. We've made bikes for we made a bike for a little person. She had a sister. It was going to be their 9th birthday, and one sister was average size, one sister was a little person.
So you
like
made
this.
a custom bike.
The thing is, you
can't buy a bike from a
you
store.
know, for twins on their birthday, they both got to get the same shit.
Oh.
So the little sister, had never been on a bicycle, and they wanted a bicycle for her. But if she gets one on her birthday, her sister had to get one too.
Oh.
So I made two similar bikes.
So you work with the parents, and you're like, hey, we're gonna make a bike just like so that way she can get some bike like her sister. That's awesome.
We make everything out of scrap. We're not in this for the money, man. There's no money in this.
There's no money, so just.
It's a lot of fun.
Is it? Why is there no money? I would think because it's custom, because there's a lot of work that goes into it. You could charge whatever you want. Is that? It's
okay. There's a time and a place for everything. This is for my friends. They're paying me for their frame. They're not paying me for me to make it. They're paying me for their frame.
Okay.
I will make their frame. It doesn't matter what it takes to make their frame. The time, this isn't a business.
So this is your art. This is your passion.
Yeah, this is not where, so many hours, this income equals profit. This is not a business.
Right.
There's no money in this as a business.
So what is this to you? What is this to you? If it's not a business, what is this?
My way of life.
Way of life. That's awesome.
This is what I do.
That's awesome.
Is this how I make my living? No, this is what I do. I'm not in this for the money.
This is your art. This is
Yes.
your passion.
The money's starting to come in because I've crossed all the T's, dotted all the I's, and kept my nose clean. And it's coming. It's starting to come.
A little bit.
Yes.
Nice.
I've achieved a certain goal, or I've met certain requirements to the point where people are starting to look at me, people with money, looking to advance what they do or looking to advance what I do.
It's cool. It's exciting.
Yes. It started 3 or 4 years ago. My club president, he's an unschooled savant designer. Doodles on a piece like that, on a napkin.
What is he designing for? Like for
Bikes.
For bikes.
Frames. Draws a frame, draws a bike. And every now and then he would hand me this design. Hey, that's cool, that's cool. You know, JP, you should make a portfolio of this, you know. Put all these things together. And he kept on doing that. He did make the portfolio. Well, and he kept on handing me designs every now and then. One day he went to Shiny Side Up. I bought these wide rims. And man, I've never had these rims. It's 5-inch rims. I got some in there. And as we were coming back from San Jose, I told hey JP, can you design me a bike for these rims? Next day he hands me a little paper, this thing. Okay, cool. The next day I sent him a picture of the frame. It's the Bombita.
The Bombita.
That's the bike over there.
Wow, that green one.
No, not
Oh
the
no,
green one.
oh the big one.
You see the loop?
Oh yeah, that giant tires.
Like the 1950s cars.
Dang.
The rear end.
Yeah.
Well, you see, I made that frame, sent him the picture, and we both had to think of a name. All these bikes get names.
Nice.
And in the same text, what are we going to call it? We're both answering each other. I say, either I say Bomber or Bombita, or he says Bomber or Bombita, but we both said those words.
Wow.
It was automatic.
It's meant to be.
Then I made a decision. See, this right here, it's all BC, one big club. Every year we have a convention in Vegas, and everybody wants to show up with a new bike. Especially for
every
the bike
year you
show.
guys have a bike convention, like all the clubs meet there.
All the clubs meet there.
Wow.
So I had to make a decision that year because, man, I want to show up with a new bike. You know, you're supposed to. But I had to make a decision with this frame. Do I let it go, or do I keep it secret? I decided to let it go. I posted, hey, this is what I made. Within the first 15 minutes, the first frame sold. Within the first hour, I had 8 sold.
Dang.
By the end of the week, second week, right around that time frame, I had about 24 of them sold already. And that's when we decided to go to McCarty Bikes. It's a bicycle company here in El Monte. Their bikes are made in China, but this is it's an American company. Mm-hmm. They were started here.
Oh wow!
1997. We buy all our parts and stuff from them. I've known them for many, many years. By the time I went up to them with my frame, I said, hey, when you go to especially a competitor, a company, and ask them, hey, can you guys make me my frame? They have no interest in...
No, they want to make their own
No,
frames.
they want to make their own shit, and they do. But when you see, you don't go to a company asking them for shit. You show them. All my frames at that time were $600, and I would take half a deposit and then the other half when I made the frame. So I had $300 and $300.
Yeah.
Well, by this time I had 24 sales. That's 24 times 2.
Wow.
That's 48 payments, and they were all so back to back that on my phone, on the PayPal invoice thing, it would be 300.
Dang.
So I went to Julie. Hey, Julie, I got a problem. Listen, I made this frame. They're selling like hotcakes.
There's no way you can produce that
I
fast,
can't handle it. You think you guys can make me my frame and I'll buy it for you so I can sell it? I think we can do something.
Wow.
It was the PayPal statements. Every $300, see, I didn't tell her that was the deposit. Well, she assumed that was the full price because that's what they were charging for theirs. Retail and wholesale, what she saw on my 48 payments, what she saw was 48 sales of $150.
The cost.
The cost, wholesale cost of those frames.
Which is fair. It's perfect.
That's the way it goes. It's,
So you're paying $150 for the frame.
And I sell it for $300. I wanted to sell it for half the price. See, at $600, I only had 48 clients in 2 weeks. Only. But I had maybe 1,000 requests for how much is it?
Oh, a lot of people.
Okay.
You think a lot of people were stopping at the cost because of
The
the price?
cost.
The price.
It's a price.
It was just
Handmade is expensive.
Yeah.
And they know it.
Yeah.
But they still ask. So I said, you know what? At $600, I lost all those sales. But at $300, I can get half of those guys.
Nice.
So
you started doing more volume.
well, that's what my intent was to, our intent was in the beginning to do that. So to sell them the frames prefabricated and sell them.
Yeah.
So we went and they let us pay for all the tooling, because you got to pay for the tooling if you want to, yeah, we can make it for you, but you got to pay for the tooling and everything. On the day of signing for the tooling, that's when McCarthy made their move. I knew they were going to make it. We let them make it. They agreed to make our frame, but they also asked for the bike.
The ownership of the patent?
No, the rights to the model.
To the design.
To the design.
Wow.
Not ownership of it, the rights. In exchange for royalties.
Nice. You kind of.
So it's two separate deals. They got to make my frame, but they're also going to be making the bike, and for that they will pay us.
Licensing agreement for the frame design.
Now I donated whatever proceeds from that to our bike club, and JP donated. See, JP is the one that made the deal. It's his design.
Yeah.
I'm only the creator.
Right.
It's his design, and he donated his proceeds to his club. It's a non-profit club.
Wow.
We have the only youth-based bike club that I know of in Los Angeles.
So what do you do for the youth? Are the events? Do they learn how to make bikes? What kind of programs do you have for them?
I show
them how to make the bikes.
I've shown many of our youth how to make their own bike.
Wow.
Many of them have made their own bike. Not just youth. I also have many of our Bike Life members. I come over here. I got this April, we had our convention in Vegas. One of my students, Celeste Aguilar, Villa Aguilar, won with her frame a ladies bombita, won best ladies category. She made history, the first female fabricator to get an OBC, a trophy.
Wow.
So my other student says, my turn. See, I was afraid both of them would show up at the same show this year.
Competed against
I
each other.
got two student ladies making a frame. One of them is inside.
Wow.
Next year, I will have another one of my students enter in the competition. I teach
them how to weld too?
I teach anybody. If you want to, I can teach you to weld right now.
I
tell everybody that I can make you a welder within 5 minutes with 2 minutes of instruction.
Before I leave, I'm going to learn how to weld.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's
anybody
awesome.
that comes to my shop can get on the table.
That's awesome.
I have father and son teams. I've had 2 so far.
Wow.
And that also started another little side gig of mine. Is I provide an experience, father and son experience.
Oh,
They bend their bike. I show them how to bend. They bend their metal, and to keep things going and safe, I make the difficult cuts. But they all.
So is it like a kind of like a class that they pay
class.
for? Nice.
Yes.
That's pretty awesome.
It's either a 1 day or 2 day, and it's a 1 bike or 2 bike.
I'm gonna bring my kids here. That's freaking awesome.
Yes.
So
and it's a package deal, and you save pretty much half the cost of the build because you're doing it.
And you build your own bike. You build the whole bike.
What you end up doing is paying me for a day of labor, and you save yourself everything else.
And you walked away with your own bike that you built yourself. There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
This is incredible art. This is like, now I understand, like when you say it's not about the money, you created these licensing deals, you created you got these guys making your own bikes so that you can sell them for your customers. You're doing these package deals with father and son thing, and all the money is going into your club, and with that money, you're able to teach all these youth and do all these things and do these events in Vegas
and take the kids to Vegas.
And you take them, you pay for all that?
The club kids, yeah, our club pays for that.
Wow.
Every year, JP tries to take as many of our kids as possible.
Holy moly.
The first year was only 4 or 5 of them. It costs money.
Yeah,
okay?
Jesus.
You got to pay
Travel
for their
costs,
hotel,
their food, they eat,
everything.
the kids eat.
Everything. And we're responsible. But the parents are down with it.
That's awesome.
They know, we'll take care of the kids, and not only that, they're learning stuff.
That's amazing. If somebody wants to help your foundation or whatnot, what's the easiest way? Is it buying a bike from Ramirez.art or from Scrapyard, or what's the easiest way to help out?
Okay, as far as purchasing, it would be to contact Los Riders Bike Club, LRBC. Los Riders Bike Club.
Bike Club.
Youth Intervention.
And that's a foundation, or?
That would be on Facebook.
Los Riders.
But that site you mentioned, Skrap Father Bikes, that's run by JP.
JP runs that.
Any contacts or any contact Skrap Father Bikes on that Instagram thing.
Skrap Father Bikes on Instagram, Ramirez.art on Instagram. You guys follow Art. This is an amazing thing you're doing, bro.
Oh, thank you.
You're an artist. You're just something totally different, eccentric. You're doing it all from your backyard. You're a businessman as well. I don't think you want to hear that, but I think you're doing a business here, and it's helping the youth, and it's an amazing thing for this neighborhood. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate you telling us your story, man.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you.
Awesome, bro. Appreciate it. Guys, make sure you listen to the podcast and listen to this over and over again. If you want to help Art, follow him on Ramirez.art on Instagram, and we will see you soon. Have a great one.
You want to come down? I'll show you how to make your own bike.
Yes.
You can bend metal. It's not magic.
Nice.